Hey there! Let's talk about artificial intelligence. You hear the term everywhere, and honestly, it can feel a little intense. But what if we looked at it from a totally different angle? For the next few minutes, we're going to break down what AI really is, and I promise, it's more familiar than you think. Let's jump in.
So let's start right here. Forget about the killer robots and the superbrains from the movies just for a second. Instead, I want you to imagine AI is the absolute perfect study partner. You know, the one who's read every book in the library, has a perfect memory, and is always there to help you figure things out.
And if we stick with that idea, that AI is a study companion, then you gotta remember one crucial thing: it starts from zero. Just like any student on their first day, it shows up with a blank slate. It doesn't know anything until it's taught.
This is the official textbook definition. But really, think of artificial intelligence as the name of the entire university. It's the huge, overarching field dedicated to one big goal: creating systems that can learn, reason, and solve problems like a human would. And inside that university, there are a bunch of different subjects and departments.
And you know, this whole idea isn't new at all. It kicked off way back in the 1950s with pioneers like Alan Turing asking that famous question, "Can machines think?" But its history has been this wild ride of massive hype, followed by these AI winters where funding dried up and progress stalled. So why is it blowing up now? Well, it's because of two things that came together perfectly: an unbelievable amount of data and computers that are powerful enough to actually process it all.
Okay, so if AI is our study buddy, how in the world does it actually learn? That's where we get into its core subjects, the different ways it makes sense of all that information.
The first big subject is called machine learning, and here's the best way to think about it. Imagine a university with no professors and no lectures. Instead of being given a list of rules, the student, the system, is just handed a mountain of data, all the textbooks, all the past exams, all the notes, and it's told, figure it out. Its whole job is to find the patterns all by itself.
Let me make that real for you. Let's say we want a machine to learn what an airplane looks like. First, you just drown it in data, thousands of pictures, each one labeled airplane or not airplane. Then the machine sifts through all of it and starts noticing patterns on its own, things like wings, a tail, a certain shape. And finally, after seeing enough examples, it can spot an airplane in a totally new picture it's never seen before. That exact process is how your spam filter works and how Netflix knows what movie you want to watch next. Now, we can kick this up a notch with something called deep learning. This is a more advanced version of machine learning, and it's awesome because it's directly inspired by the wiring of our own brains. It uses these interconnected layers of what they call artificial neurons. The first layer might spot simple shapes. The next layer combines those into more complex parts, and so on, getting smarter with each step.
And listen, deep learning isn't some futuristic concept. It's the engine humming inside some of the coolest tools we use right now. It's what lets your voice assistant understand what you're saying, and it's the magic behind generative AI like ChatGPT and Gemini that can write poems or code.
So, we've talked about how AI learns. Now let's get into the where, because you might be surprised just how much these learning systems are already woven into the fabric of your everyday life. I mean, seriously, it is everywhere. It's in the movie recommendations you get, the spam filter protecting your inbox, the voice assistant on your phone, and the facial recognition that unlocks it. But it's also powering much bigger things, right? It's a key part of self-driving cars, it's helping doctors analyze medical scans to spot diseases earlier, and it's even managing traffic in big cities.
Okay, with all that incredible power, it is so easy for our imaginations to just run wild. So let's take a minute and draw a really clear line between the science fiction we see in movies and the actual reality of AI today.
This is maybe the most important thing to understand. Every single AI system on the planet today is what we call narrow AI. That means it's an absolute genius, but only at one very specific thing. The AI that can beat the world's best chess player has zero idea how to write a poem. They are incredibly powerful, but they're specialists, not all-knowing general thinkers.
So let's just put it side by side. The science fiction version of AI has consciousness, emotions, its own goals and desires. That's the myth. The reality of today's AI? It's algorithms, it's code, it's task-specific, and it has absolutely no self-awareness. It's a sophisticated tool, but it's still just a tool, doing exactly what we designed it to do. And realizing that AI is just a tool brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. It's not about the sci-fi fears, it's about the very real challenges and the unbelievable potential that's right in front of us. and what our role is in all of it.
See, the real challenges aren't about robot uprisings. They're about us. They're about really tough questions, like how do we make sure these algorithms aren't hidden black boxes? How do we protect our privacy when so much data is being used? How do we make sure the data we feed them isn't biased? And yeah, what is the impact on jobs going to be? These are the big, important conversations we need to be having right now.
But right alongside those challenges is this incredible potential. I mean, if we get this right, if we manage it responsibly, AI could be one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. We could use it to help us tackle some of our biggest global problems, from climate change to discovering new medicines.
And at the end of the day, we have to remember this. AI is not here to replace what makes us human. Our ability to connect ideas in new ways, to feel empathy for each other, to create art, that will always be the most valuable intelligence there is. Think of AI less as a replacement and more as a partner, one that can handle the boring, repetitive stuff so we have more time to do what we do best.
And that brings us to the final and I think most important question. The future isn't about some passive thing that's going to happen to us. It's not about AI taking over. The real challenge is about us stepping up. It's about how we, all of us, are going to learn to use this incredible, powerful new tool to build the kind of future we actually want to live in.